Hello and good morning, everyone. This is Emily's round five. I gotta mute myself. um, but yeah, this is the Charlotte Open 2025. Emily is 2 out of 4, which is very exciting. She started off really strong with 2 out of 2, and then she lost the last two. So she's gonna come back in the win column here today. We're all rooting for her. She's playing a younger opponent, wearing glasses. Very cute kid, if I do say so myself. I haven't looked at her previous games, but I do know that she won the first two with Matt at the helm, and then she lost the last two. I think probably a coincidence. Probably. Maybe she can only win with Matt at the in the commentator booth. But yeah, also we have some streamers in the background. The Chess Sharks. Tony is playing against King Coonsley. Anyways, all right, I'm ready to say hi to myself, or rather, say hi to the chat. Hello, everyone. Welcome, and thank you for tuning in. Excited to watch Emily's game. The board is on a delay. I think I could just go ahead and make the moves though. So Emily has the black pieces. We started with knight f3, and it looks like Emily maybe copied with knight f6. And then, was there a pawn push yet? I think so. I think there was g3, and then Emily went, is it with the d pawn? d5. We have something like this. So, yeah, solid start. Nothing too crazy. And I believe these are the last two rounds of the day, or of the tournament, really, I should say. So we'll see if Emily can end strong here. I think we're hoping for at least one win today. This is the first time I'm live on my channel this year. I was thinking maybe I could go live last night, but it ended up not happening. This isn't my first stream of the entire year, though, as I went live on the Collegiate Chess League channel. We did a podcast episode last week, so feel free to check those out. And yeah, opponent just follows through with the fianchetto, getting ready to castle. And it looks like Emily brings her bishop out. We might see an opposite side castles in this game, which would be very exciting, very thrilling. What's up, Fly? Jenny? We got Lance in the chat. We got Matt, of course. Mr. Friend. Fly. Hello. Paul. Senpai. Medio. Yeah, Jenny's a mod. Jenny is one of the best mods in the biz that we could ever asked for. All right, opponent has played d3, putting pawns on light squares, trying to fight for the center. So taking a small step to play in the center here. Google's gonna keep asking me if I know that I'm muted. I don't know if I can change that setting, but that's okay. Chess Kibitzer is also a mod, it's true. And Ben, Daniel, Sean. What is Emily's rating? I believe her USCF is just under 1,000. She is still provisional, though. I think she's only played one tournament before this. So this should be her second ever tournament and her first tournament that she's streamed. So Emily connects her pawn chain. She's getting the bishop outside of her pawns before she pushes them, which is great. Hello, Ben. Thanks for tuning in. Shout out to the sub 1K players. which is a majority of players. Because I think Emily, I don't know, her USCF is like 900 something, and I think it's top majority percentage already, which is pretty cool. So, anyhow, opponent has not castled. I thought they were ready to castle. Also pushing the D pawn, their bishop was ready to come out somewhere. But no. If the bishop came to G5 after H6, you cannot go back because you've fianchettoed your light square bishop by pushing G3, which would allow for a trap. We can show this line. That's a trapped piece right there. So after H6, you really have to commit the bishop and give up the bishop pair. So the opponent has elected not to bring out the bishop, although they could have gone perhaps to F4 or maybe even to D2, but they've put the knight from B to D2, which I think might be not the most ambitious, although it does help control the E4 square. So right now there's maybe a little bit of a fight going on in the center. But I felt like normally maybe the knight could go to C3, but maybe you don't want to get in the way of the C pawn, which could also be a pawn break in the center. Yeah, today is a holiday here in the US, so luckily I don't have a lot of work meetings, which is good because now I can commentate. It's Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day to everyone. The Louisian lighting or Louisian. No, it's the natural eye. My white balance might be a little too much, I don't know. Or maybe I should say lack of balance, perhaps. Yeah, Emily is definitely winning both games today, for sure. All right, so Emily has played C6. She's completed the pyramid formation. So I'm wondering if the live or if the board has been updated because it's been more than how long's the delay on the board? I don't know. I'm just making the moves that I see. Hello, Geezer Chess. Shout out to Geezer. It's 15 minutes. Okay. Shout out to Houseline putting answers in both chats. We don't have a shared chat for today. Maybe we'll get one by the next stream. She will be playing twice today. The next game, I believe, will be around 3 o'clock Eastern. All right, so opponent has elected to castle. Using a pencil for the score sheet. Bold choice from the opponent. Also, nice water bottle from the opponent there. Gotta stay hydrated. Yeah, shout out to Houseline. Not only a great streamer, but also putting out some great content. Also giving away free diamond memberships on chess.com. So if you're interested in getting that for yourself, be sure to check out Houseline's Instagram. Maybe check out his TikTok if it's still up. Who knows? Emily's also been putting out a lot of content on YouTube, so shout out to the YouTube channel. I look different without a beard, Azur. Yeah, I shaved yesterday. Honestly, I have not been shaving as much this year, but I assume you guys wouldn't know because I haven't been streaming. But maybe Azur knows somehow. Who knows? Thank you, Mr. Friend. Yes, shout out to Emily. We should have Emily's channel linked in the title. I should honestly also have an Emily command. Hello, Dijon. Welcome in. Yeah, shout out to Geezer. Another great streamer. Okay, so Emily, after the opponent castles, brings out her knight, connecting the knights. After completing the diamond formation, the knight can no longer go to the c6 square, and so goes to d7. But this is fine. We're controlling the e5 square now, and the bishop can also come out. Emily has choices. She hasn't gotten the bishop out yet, so she still can't castle. But the queen could also come out, and she could really castle queenside if she wants to. I don't think she will after pushing the c pawn. So I was maybe hoping we could get some opposite side castles game, maybe an h5, h4, maybe an exchange sacrifice would be absolutely wild. But I have a good feeling we're not going to see that now. Yeah, opponent just calmly c3. So opponent hasn't gotten to the 4th rank yet. This is a very timid, shy opening from white, particularly. So Emily, I would say, has a bit of the space advantage. And I would consider something like e5. The computer does not call for that, though. The computer's saying h6 for whatever reason. Maybe if the knight goes to h4, you can hunt down this bishop. So with h6, the bishop has a square to hide on. But I think e5 serves a similar purpose. Geezer's calling for rook e1 and e4 idea. Yeah, a lot of squares controlling e4. Emily has 3 pieces. White has 2. And trying to get the pawn there maybe could be supported by the bishop or maybe by the rook. But that would be a great idea for white to get some control in the center. We see Emily has brought her bishop out. Now, she has a choice of where to put the bishop. I think she chose the best square, bishop to d6, a little bit more active than on e7, and helps control e5 even further. All good things. And now she's ready to get castled. And I know she's had troubles castling in the past. I think that's Dina walking back there. Just saw I Spy with my little eye, a little Dina Belenkaya, woman grandmaster. Shout out to Dina, who is probably streaming her games as well, I would assume. Dina is likely to be commentating this weekend for the Collegiate Chess League with Jules Gambit. So that's some exciting news. If you are tuning in for those, I highly recommend. That's where I'm spending my weekends. But yeah, Dina's had Emily on her Instagram, I believe, maybe even a few times. So shout out to the Charlotte Chess Center for hosting such a great tournament and event and having so many chess streamers. You have Tony from Chess Sharks on the board behind. We just see Coonsley there. Dina is not on stream. Okay. Well, she does have her game on a DGT board. I know. Opponent still has to solve the development issue of the bishop. No legal moves for that guy. So I believe rook e1 has been played. And now it is Emily's turn. So does she castle? Which would be the second best recommendation, apparently, behind the move bishop to g4, pinning the knight. Oh, we see a hand raised in the background, calling for an arbiter, perhaps. Some talking already. Did they draw? Yeah, they're putting the kings in. Oh my goodness. Early game. I'm glad I'm not streaming their game, because that's over fast. We still have a game going on here, though, so that's good. Those guys, those two are friends. I can tell you guys that. They both came over from Utah. And I can say that because I met them. Actually, I don't think I've met Tony, but I did meet. Uh, okay, Emily did castle, which is such a good move. We love castling. I'm curious to see how the other game went. I guess the boards are delayed, so anyways. Looks like Roy Lopez. Um Actually, I'm not seeing Emily's game update, so it's good that I'm putting the moves on, I guess. Anyways, what did I miss? So she castled, and then they played d4. Do I see that right? I guess I do. So d4 is kind of a move in the wrong direction, I'd say. I think it's important that you're controlling these light squares, right? So you played rook e1, and as Geezer pointed out, we want to play for e4, putting a pawn into the center and sort of causing a pawn break, or really just attacking the bishop. If we look at e4, takes, and this isn't leading to, is it leading to a fork? Ah, bishop g4, an important move, because otherwise you are getting into a fork. But this pin helps control the e5 square. This pawn break would not be supported by the knight. So yeah, opponent could have given Emily quite the test with the pawn break in the center. Instead, elected for d4, which looks nice with the pawn chain. However, you're conceding a lot of control over the light squares. So this square now is firmly in Emily's grasp, and it's going to be very difficult to get an e4 pawn break in. Okay, so it looks like Emily's made her move now, and she elects to play e5, supported by both knight and bishop. So Emily's playing in the center. Why not? Looks like the opponent has captured. So Emily should take back with the knight, I suspect, not trying to give up the bishop pair just yet. And she does exactly just that. So now the opponent could capture back and trade and simplify, opening up the bishop, creating a new square for the other knight. I think that probably makes the most sense. Although c4 is also an idea while the knight is still here. But yeah, you could bring the other knight, hit the bishop with tempo, and then the bishop opens up. And we see the first trade. Now the computer likes c4 and keeping the knight, but I am curious if they'll play knight f3. It's definitely a possibility. Hello, Kirby. Welcome in. I did come out of retirement. Hello, Chelado. Good to see you. Yeah, I didn't intend to retire. I plan on streaming more regularly. So, if anyone was worried, I'm here to tell you. No more worrying. Although, to be fair, I don't think anyone was worried. She started her stream just now. Yeah, that's classic Dina. If you've ever watched a Dina tournament, you would know. I think she arrives casually late, perhaps intentionally. Almost like Magnus, in a way. And got a life. It's kind of true, Fly. I had no friends in LA. No, to be a little bit more fair, I would say that this start of 2025 has been particularly busy with the start of the Collegiate Chess League, which I'm still getting over because India has their own league that starts this week on Thursday. And I have a lot of work to do to finalize those teams and divisions. A lot of people, a lot of people. We have 30 plus countries registered in the Collegiate Chess League. It looks like Emily just hit her follower goal. So shout out to Trod, the last follower. But I've been seeing a lot of follows coming in for Emily. So thank you, everyone. Appreciate that. Welcome in. You're going to see a lot more of Emily when she gets back to streaming. Unfortunately, she's a little busy right now playing over the board. So Emily cannot be playing viewers right now at this moment. Not that anyone asked. But I know there might have been some people thinking it. You're stuck with me for now, so I apologize. And I do have one more stream with Emily's tournament later today. But after that, she'll be back. North Carolina had to follow. All right, Trod. Well, they're playing at Charlotte, the chess center there. It's one of the best chess clubs in the country, if not the world, if I could say that. So if you're interested in chess, you should go check it out. Maybe you'll meet Emily or some of the other world-renowned famous chess streamers, such as Dina, such as the Chess Sharks, or even Daniel Naroditsky himself, Grandmaster. All right, opponent has played e3. So really completing this pawn, blocking in the bishop, really. And, you know, opening up the queen, opening up the rook. But really, we sort of wish that we had played e4, right? Which is out of the way of the bishop, but also giving even more space to these pieces. But without a pawn on d3 is very difficult. So I would say that without the knight on d2, without a pawn on d3, a lot of this control over these squares is now firmly in Emily's control, which is great for her as she controls more of the board, more of the center, and has the better position here. So opponent has played e3, and Emily answers back seemingly relatively quickly with a queen move. Queen to d7, which I particularly like as it connects with the bishop, and perhaps she's going for a light square bishop trade, which would be very advantageous considering white has castled with the fianchetto, and that light square bishop is a very key piece been controlling these light squares, right? As we mentioned, white's put all of their pawns on dark squares, and so the light square control is particularly weak, right? It's very much within Emily's control. So by removing the light square bishop, she will even get further control over these weakened light squares. Bornik true too. That is too true. Good call out there, Senpai. Hello, Martin. Welcome in. Cheering on for Emily. Appreciate that. Thank you, Geezer. Hello, John. Good to see you. Yeah, e3 is not a terrible move. It's fine. I think after you'd push the d pawn to d4, your hopes of e4 are pretty much gone. So nothing particularly wrong with e3. Maybe I would have gotten the bishop out first. Maybe trade it for the knight. Or at least it keeps the queen from doubling behind the bishop. So we'll see. We'll see what white does with this bishop. It's kind of a problematic piece at this point. Notice Emily's rooks are connected. She is ahead in development despite starting with the black pieces. White, obviously, going first, has that slight advantage. However, Emily has surpassed that advantage. She is ahead in development. Both sides have been castled. However, Emily has more control of the center and more developed pieces. As you can see, her queen and bishop have gotten out, whereas white has not done that yet. So rooks are very far from being connected for white, but Emily is ready to go here. So we're entering into the middle game where Emily's going to strategically position her pieces to get some favorable trades and even further control of the board. This is a great start for Emily so far. Trod loves chess. Just enjoy watching others. Yeah, that is totally fair. It's very fun to watch. I think playing sometimes can be stressful. Emily's putting another sweater on. She's layering up. Maybe it's cold in the playing hall. Probably is. A lot of these videos really turn the temperature down. And it's also cold outside. It's wintertime here in the northern hemisphere. Shout out to any Australians that are out enjoying the summer. You're going to see bishop h1, John. I don't know if I would put that at 100%. That's a pretty high percentage. Okay, white has completed their dark square pawn control. So they didn't like that the a pawn was on a2. So now we have the full checkerboard setup here from white. Definitely one of the strategies. a3. It is true. And now, will we see bishop h3? Or are we going to see rook f to e8? Rook a to d8. Getting the last pieces into the game. Yeah, the dark square bishop has one option. And from that one option, it has one option. So, not the best bishop in the world. Also, not the best bishop on the board. So, we'll see what happens. At some point, pawns will need to be pushed. And not on dark squares. Because if the pawns are on dark squares, then the bishop cannot go to those dark squares. Emily's rating is about 950 or so. I'm not sure. She has a USCF account in order to play, and she does have a rating, but it is provisional, meaning she hasn't played enough games to truly have an accurate rating as of yet. I don't know if that's the actual definition. I would suspect that it's not, but that's me putting it in layman's terms. I like bishop g4 as well, honestly. Maybe knight e4, trying to stir up some trouble against the pen. But the bishop does defend this, so it's not the end of the world. The queen can always get out of it. How come the board is hiding the opponent? Because that's where I've put it. Okay, knight e4 has been played. Yeah, I don't have a fancy stream template like Houseline or B Skywalk. Shout out to the previous commentators. But if you'd like to see, I did have the opponent on. So let me show you guys. We can show you guys. Ta-da! There he is. Very young. A bright, promising chess career ahead of him. I'm sure this is going to be a future GM that Emily gets to say that she beat before he became a GM, you know? One of those child prodigy situations, perhaps. Or perhaps not. Who knows? But yeah, there he is with the pencil. Oh, and we've got some catering coming through. Is that what? Oh, psych. Said, never mind. She opened that door. I was like, oh, there's a chess tournament. That's not. This is not where I needed to go. Sorry. But yeah, that's what I'm hiding from you guys. I'm making sure you guys don't see the door as well. You never know who's gonna walk through, so apologize for that. Emily, yeah, it's possible she'll be getting her title. Probably not after this tournament. Maybe most likely. Maybe even guaranteed. Okay, so knight e4 played by Emily, and white responds with knight to d4. Throwing a punch at the bishop, opening up their bishop. Now, what we don't want to do is go to g4, attacking the queen, because we can get a counterattack with the pawn push to f3. Now, what's interesting is it's not all lost after f3. We can go back to h5, because if they take the knight, then they would drop the queen. This pawn is pinned. However, there's this move g4, which will then break the pin and then win the knight. So that would be what I call unfortunate. However, Emily will not play this move. Instead, she will play bishop h3, I suspect. Now, the computer is saying that bishop h3 is only the third best option. It's saying that rook ad8 is the second best, which I don't like, as it allows for this bishop to be captured. But it is saying the best move is actually bishop to g6, which personally I don't fully understand. But I think it likes, I guess, the bishop on this diagonal. So, kind of curious. Maybe we'll kick the knight out. But yeah, I'm fully expecting bishop h3. I think Emily has put the queen and bishop together. She's going to use it. Emily lost in round 4. She started off hot with 2 wins back to back, and then she lost the next 2. So now she's all evened up at 2 out of 4. So here she's looking to get ahead, get her 3rd point in 5 games. What's the time control? That is actually a great question. And I believe it's 90 minutes with 30-second increment, if I had to take a guess. We do see the clocks now, actually, although it seems that I've cut them out. So maybe I should do something about that. What do you guys think? Should I do something about that? Who knows? Hmm. I've added the clocks, but I don't know if I like how I did it because it's kind of covering the board now, or the real board. But where else would I put it? It's fine. It's fine. You guys are right. 3 out of 5 would be great, of course. Maximizing her point potential in this game. It's a 6 round tournament, though, so she has another game. Her best performance as of right now could be 4 out of 6. She's done it. Bishop h3. She's sending it. Going for the light squared control. Computer saying f3 is a move. I think it's a weakening move. I think that opponent probably won't play f3, but that is what the computer is calling for, to kick out this knight. It also likes c4, and it also likes rook a2. Can you believe it? That's the third best move for white. I probably shouldn't have spoiled it. I think no one would have guessed that. I don't think anyone would play rook a2 in this position. And the computer's saying it's the third best move. So yeah, Emily is playing. I guess it's the under 1100, but I think she said that one of her last opponents was actually FIDE rated 1800. So I guess this is a USCF tournament. And so I don't know. I don't know. Like some tournaments, they don't allow you to play up, but I figure if you're like 1800 FIDE, you'd probably want to play in a higher section than the under 1100 USCF. No, she did not. She did not fly. She lost her last 2 games, so it was one of those players. Emily's got a spectator there checking out the game. He's seen enough. He's like, yeah, White's doing good. Let me go check out this other game. So it's probably his opponent's turn, and he's walking around. I'm assuming that was a player. A lot of the players like to get up and walk around and look at all the other games going on as they wait for their turn, or even during their turn. Maybe looking for a similar position. Say, what did this guy do? Maybe I could do that. That's probably why Kingsley and Tony drew so fast. They just wanted to watch Emily's stream. They're not watching Emily play live in person. We don't maybe they're behind the camera. Maybe they're operating the camera, making sure everything's going smoothly. That's pretty much bullying. Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't know. I can't really speculate because if you're provisional, you're also capped at how much you can win in terms of prizes. So, um, who knows? I'm assuming there's cash prizes for the Charlotte Open. I'm assuming there was an entry fee. I probably should have looked into more details around the event, but I do know there's 6 rounds and that she has one more round after this. And I also know that she's 2 out of 4, looking to get more points. And yeah, she's waiting for her opponent's move, so she elects to get up, stretch the legs a little bit, get some blood flowing. Right now, the opponent has a few options. We already discussed f3 as the top move. Someone suggested bishop h1, which would be to keep the bishop on the board, but that would make Emily's bishop quite a strong piece. And yeah, Emily might play c5 herself. So let's see. A move has been played. Was it the queen? I believe. Queen e2, it seems. So now the bishops can trade. Bishop takes bishop is an option. You see Emily has returned to the board, looking slightly confused, perhaps. Assessing. Trying to figure out why the opponent would do what they do. And yeah, honestly, it's kind of a curious move, right? The queen is now on this diagonal, although perhaps not the most useful diagonal to be on, but maybe can help support a c4 pawn break. Although the computer saying c4 was the best move, second best move last turn, as you didn't need to support this pawn, as it wasn't really hanging, because then the knight would have been hanging. Although I guess you could have traded bishops first and then taken. So I don't know. But yeah, I'm wondering maybe queen could have gone here. Or maybe even here. Or even here. But instead, he goes queen e2, getting one of the last pieces off the back rank. He's one move away from connecting his rooks. 1800 floor is pretty good, Geezer. I think that's better than my. I don't know if I have. I don't know what my floor is, but it's definitely not higher than my current rating, as that would defeat the purpose of the floor. Although I would argue my floor should be 1900 because I won a 1900 section, but I don't know. I don't know how floors work. Usually they say it's like 200 less than something. So maybe my floor is 1800. But my peak rating was 1950. So maybe it's like 1700 or 1600 or something. What's up, Forever? Haven't been in here since you played with Logic. Yeah, that's been a while. I coached Logic in PogChamps 3, I believe, which was like early 2021, which has been 4 years now. So, yeah. But Logic's still playing chess. He had a arena the other day. Logic had a chess bot released on chess.com. I believe you can still play it. So that's cool. Shout out to Dr. J-Law, trying to get half a MacBook. Maybe just get a tablet. I think that would probably be better than... Because, if you get half a MacBook, that could be the wrong half. You could just get like the keyboard half. Or maybe they cut it in half the other way and you get half the screen and half the keyboard, which would be less than ideal. All right, Emily has opted to capture the bishop. So assuming the opponent will recapture, which he does. And now Emily can play c5. as we pointed out earlier. What else can she do? That's pretty much it. That's all she can do, really. That was a joke. Bishop can go to e. The bishop can move. That's what the computer likes. It's moving the bishop somewhere. Um, I think c5 is a little committal, or maybe it's a lot of committal because pawns can't go backwards. I've been told. That's what they say. Knights can go backwards. So this knight would not be trapped after c5. Although I guess even if it could go forward, it wouldn't be trapped because now the queen is here. Maybe that was White's mastermind idea to queen e2. My floor is 1700. Thank you to the doctor. Dude, I guess Julian has the day off today. Shout out to US holidays. Or maybe he's on the job. I heard anesthesiologists like to use their phones. A lot of Candy Crush. And I've seen it. My I guess I can share a fun fact. My dad's an anesthesiologist and he loves Candy Crush. Julian's got a special account. I gotta look that up, man. I gotta find the account name. Um, I don't know. You can get creative. Anyways, I'm curious. This idea is very intriguing. Queen h3 looks nice, but the computer is not showing knight g5 on the radar. Maybe like knight g5, maybe there's queen h5, but who knows? It's true, Fly. Hello, Nodule. Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Hi, Screws. Good to see you as well. Welcome. If she knew, that's okay. Perhaps for the best, Screws. Perhaps. To be fair, I didn't tune into Phoebe. Phoebe's been streaming at some rough hours for me here in the States. Today, I definitely could have tuned in, but to be completely honest with all of you, this is probably the earliest I've gotten up this entire year. So, shout out to Emily for getting me out of bed and putting me on stream, because this is also the first stream on my account this year. So, um, we're taking some small steps here to start 2025. First, getting out of bed. That's a big step actually for me, really. Um, but yeah, it's okay not to get the raid. I don't know if I'm actually deserving, but we'll see. Maybe next time. Oh, thank you, Screws. Thank you for the apology. That was very inappropriate. That was a joke. Okay, she played rook h to e1. H8, you mean, wait, hold on. Let me take a gander at this. Okay, rook a to e8. She's gotten both rooks now. So what does this tell me? I mean, ideally, I feel like this rook would go here, or maybe even to the c file, but probably to d8, and then this rook would have gone to e8, because if you leave this rook here, that tells me you want to push the f-pawn. However, the f-pawn would probably hit a roadblock when it gets to f4 due to the pawns on g3 and e3. We do know what he meant, Kirby. It is true. I was able to deduce. You would push the f-pawn now as white? I mean, F3 has been one of the recommendations for sure. Hello, Speed Chess. How's it going? Does Ginny have that power? We we don't know all of Ginny's powers. I wouldn't put anything past Ginny. Okay, wait, what did the opponent play? The clock's in the way. I don't know. We might have to wait the full 15 minutes, you guys. Did the opponent go knight f3 back? She played a rook left, huh? Right? I'm guessing. And then knight back to d2. I think opponent has played these moves a little quickly here. I think this is what I'm seeing. So, oh wow, now f5. Dude, they're blitzing right now. Holy smokes. The moves are coming in, folks. We've got some fast gameplay here. This is a different pace than I'm used to for classical. Okay, f3 is hitting. And now, holy smokes, folks, are you ready for this move by the computer? We might slow down a little bit. I'm not sure. She could blitz out, but if we pause for a moment here, I want you all to think perhaps there's a tactic. John Galt saying f4. Hello, it's Initiative. Good to see you. To slow down, even if it's for stream's sake. Well, you know, the beauty of classical chess, as long as it might take, is that you have a lot of time. That's the whole point. So if you don't use it, then you're kind of putting yourself at a disadvantage, giving time odds even. And I know the clocks are 15 minutes delayed, but you can see she already has a sizable time advantage. She's actually gained time from the start time. So, but yeah, this move f3, she is slowing down here. She's pausing a little bit. Spy Master saying knight g3 then f4. So I'll give you all a hint. We do not move the knight according to the top two best moves. Which is crazy. This is a time where she can sacrifice the knight. Okay, so I see a lot of ideas in chat. It's not rook to g6, although the computer might. The computer's saying the third best move is knight takes d2, which is a good move. Probably the most likely move, if I had to guess. Okay, opponent's clock has run out, so sit there blitzing out these. The clock is freaking out right now. But what's happening is all of the moves are getting input to the DGT board right now. And unfortunately, the opponent is flagged. So he lost all of his hour 30 minutes in the last 15 seconds, unfortunately. We'll see when the players realize. Just kidding. That was another joke. Just the computer is wrong. Presumably. Maybe I'm making a big assumption. But regardless, we'll let them play it out. I don't think they'll need all the time anyways. Um, okay, so oh, we've lost all of my analysis. Just.com's forcing me to watch the delayed. They did fix his clock though, and he's actually up on time. Okay, hold on. Where were we looking? Here we are. Move 20. And yeah, they played the last like 3 moves lightning fast. And now Emily, I think her tactic senses are tingling. But the computer saying the best move is exactly what John said. F4, which is wild. Let's look at what happens if they accept. Now, there's only one good move here. Apparently, f takes e3 is neutral or even, but if you take on g3, you're looking good. So rook f1, we can take that. Now, there's 3 different pieces that can take back. If we look at queen takes, we can start with. Now we just take on h2. And I guess the idea is these 3 pieces, and maybe also including the pawn, is just going to just destroy the king with no defense. He's got no pawns near him. If we take with the knight, we still take on h2. And if knight takes, we just play rook g6. And life's pretty good. King f1, they're saying. Queen h3. Check. And we're going to get this knight back. If they do knight takes h2. But yeah, this is pretty deep to see, right? Sacrificing the knight to just open up both f, g, and h files, really. So all these pieces would become very happy. She did not win the last round. She lost the last 2 rounds, actually. Emily is not playing. Is she playing Tata Steel? No, Tata Steel is happening right now. Emily's playing in the Charlotte Open. She's in round 5 out of 6. She has 1 more game later today, and that will conclude her tournament. So be sure to tune in for that one as well to see the ultimate conclusion of Emily. Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, Emily's done the unthinkable. Rook to h6, which unfortunately doesn't work. Whoa, was that CL Smith? You guys didn't see. I was covering him. I should just be like, whoa, was that? And then insert any name here. Just, I'm sorry, guys. I'm having maybe too much fun. I don't know. I haven't seen CL Smith stream in too long. So maybe I'll reach out and ask him how he's doing. Maybe I could look up the results page and see if he's enrolled. So yeah, rook h6, this is quite the strat. What she wants is for the pawn to open up and for the queen to get in there. Now, if we look at this idea, let's say, I would say that perhaps the issue is that when the king moves, the queen helps lend some defense, right? So let's say best move is played, rook f1. We can play queen h3, yes. However, king to g1 or to h1, it's saying. But let's say king to g1, which looks very sensible to me. The next best move is a piece sacrifice. Again, bishop takes g3. And I don't know. I mean, we can keep following it, right? Probably rook takes f8. Now, if captures, this is a huge blunder because of checkmate, which is pretty good. Even queen takes is pretty good. And you're saying also rook f3 is playable and force mate because I guess you just can't capture it because there's still the mate threat. But assuming they don't blunder mate in one, they can take with check. We have to take back, and now they have queen f1, which guarantees a trade. So if you take, there's knight takes. If king takes, you're dropping the pawn. And when the dust settles and clears, okay, it's actually saying bishop e1. I don't know if I understand that one, but maybe, I don't know. But yes, we are down a knight in this position. So that wouldn't be great. We would have two pawns, though, for the knight. So that's interesting, but not good enough. However, it's unlikely that we'll see perfect play from either side. So yeah, I'm curious. We can save the knight, like play it back, or you can trade it. Trading it, the computer says, is still good for us. It likes knight f6 as well. It likes knight g5. But yeah, it loved f4. f4 is a crazy, wild move, which just works out. The knight can't be captured because you just capture on g3, and the entire position just blows open in black's favor. Emily elects to sacrifice her knight, but by going after the h file, which is not going to be enough for her. So the opponent perhaps maybe a little nervous here with the thoughts of the queen infiltrating. Hasn't taken the knight yet. Played f3 fairly quickly. But the best move is to capture the knight with the pawn. The next best move is to take with a knight. Or it also likes knight f1, but that still gives Emily the advantage, able to bring her knight back into safety. What's her elo? She is just around 1,000 rated, but she is provisional. This is her second ever over the board tournament. We see the clocks are getting adjusted again. Yeah, even with perfect play, losing the piece, it's not even +1 for white. So very much, I would say, good odds in her favor. Even if they play the best move, taking the knight, she's got a lot of potential, a lot of fighting power, and really this bishop doesn't really count as a piece, right? I mean, did anyone think? And if this guy is not moving, this guy's not moving, really. That's why Emily's able to sacrifice a whole piece in this position, because she has everything working in the position against this lone king, right? I mean, white has some defensive resources, but white's definitely not operating at full strength, at full potential here. Yeah, it's white's turn. White should take the knight, but Emily has just sacrificed it, which could be scary. Opponent might not take it out of fear of tactics. Yeah, I think Emily mostly plays rapid online, so I don't have the stats command set up for it. I should probably try. I also have to fix Nightbot, it seems. I don't know, Geezer. I don't know if that's a sibling or not. Yeah. The chair was getting rocked by the spectator, perhaps, trying to get a better view. There's Emily. in the background. She's walking around. Oh my God, she's gonna layer up. No, no, she's fixing her coat. I was gonna say if she put that on, it's got to be freezing in that playing hall. But no, it's not that cold. Hey Z, good to see you. Thank you. What if F takes, and G4? Um, that would blunder the queen because the bishop then would open up. So if we look at this line, F takes, G4, trying to prevent queen to H3. You've stopped one attack, but you've opened up another, even more devastating. Rook takes H2, skewer. King back to G1, and now simply the queen falls. And then life gets a little even more difficult. There's rook G2 here, but then queen D1, and there's not even the flight square as the bishop works. This is actually mate immediately. So that would be a beautiful sequence. Yeah, don't touch that G pawn. That is a very important defender. And that's probably why F4 is so good, is because you just are taking all of these pawns out of the equation. These pawns are huge defenders for the king, right? Like the bishop was. The light square bishop was around with the fianchetto as one of the king's bodyguards, along with the pawns. So Emily very strategically removed the light square defender with her bishop. And now, after F3, she's been given an opportunity really to remove the remaining defenders, all three pawns with just one pawn push. Assuming the knight gets taken, we can go ahead and go into Pac-Man mode. This bishop is becoming a monster, which is funny because all the pawns are on dark squares. So you might be thinking, how would you break this down? Well, it starts with F3, right? That is a weakening move for sure. But this knight is a very strong piece. So white is trying to remove this knight. This knight is invasive. It is in white's half, in their territory. So F3 is induced because otherwise there's no other pawn. This pawn had been pushed and traded. So not the best play by white, leading to a blunder. Emily here could have sacrificed on G3 actually, saying bishop takes was possible. And if takes here, we just take the rook. And if pawn takes, then knight takes G3, king takes, and now here it likes only two moves. There's F4 check, or the better move is queen to E7. And the rook and the queen are going to combine. That's just a weak king out there in no man's land. Now, it's saying you can't start with knight takes G. Oh, this is still fine. See if bishop takes. It doesn't like it as much because it's saying you could play rook H1 here. And the king doesn't have to get lured out. So it's a knight for two pawns. Here it's saying you just follow through with rook G6. And now you could play king F1, but it actually likes the move B4. That's wild. I guess just saying that you don't have any good discoveries. What else does it like? Rook H5. It's interesting. But yeah, we didn't see any sacrifice on G3. We didn't see F4. We saw rook H6. And the opponent has yet to move, I believe. So long think from Emily. And we see a long think from the opponent here. Hasn't played their move yet. Hello to Acratic, saying they'd be scared on either side of this. Yeah, I mean, Emily, she's got some confidence right now. She just sacked a piece, said, I don't need it. I'm coming after that king. Open up the F file for me. Why don't you? So sometimes it's okay to play suboptimal moves if your confidence is there, because your opponent might crumble under the pressure. However, in classical, with all of this time, you really have to double check, triple check, blunder check, and make sure that it's working. Because if it doesn't work, then you've lost a piece. Now here, she gets a lot of compensation and a lot of counterplay, and there's a lot of ways that white could go wrong. So right now, taking the knight is the only move. And after Emily takes back, there's a couple of only moves here that white has to follow. Otherwise, anything else, like if you try to get this this bishop out, like if you play knight f1, for example, now it really likes rook f3. You see the eval swings all the way back in Emily's favor. She would have this queen check, king g1, and it still likes rook f3. But here it's saying it's more or less even. But that's, again, with the only move, queen g2. Anything else, and it's like almost -5. It's -4.8. So if the bishop finally decides to come out, now there's rook takes g3, which is brutal. Bishop takes is not even... This is bad because of knight takes. Rook takes. This blunders. Taking here blunders mate in 2 with rook h2 mate. So that's fun. But the idea is to not... You have to play king h1 here, and then life is good again. So that's some fun stuff. So yeah, good luck to the opponent. There's like only one here. It's saying rook f1 and white holds advantage. King g1, it's even, and then anything else besides these two, it's just -3.5 in black's favor, even down a piece. You thought I was a teacher for Jesse? Does that mean I can't commentate? Did Jesse and I sign an exclusivity contract? I forgot about that. Don't tell her, please. She might fire me. That wouldn't be great. I can only coach for Jesse. I can't even commentate. All right. I gotta like check with my agent, because he's supposed to be the one to look at all that stuff for me. 'Cause I don't know. It's a little too complicated. When Emily like signed me on to be her coach, I assumed I could still commentate, so we might have to up the rates for exclusivity. I don't know. The side stuff. All right, wait. So opponent did take the knight, and she did capture back. So the kid, he said, "Give me that knight. I'll take it." And Emily takes back. So she has the F file, which is why the computer wants white to fight back and trade off that rook. Rook F1 is the only move to hold initiative for white. And it looks like they played it, actually, fairly quickly. So that's not the best for Emily. Now, Emily will have queen h3 check at her disposal, which is the best move. And she goes for it, also very quickly. And now 2 moves for white. King h1 is the worst of the 2, but king g1 is very likely. So We're about to see that. No g4, no h4. Yeah, pushing those pawns is almost a death sentence for white. But white has played optimally so far. Two best moves back to back. And we're gonna review the game with Emily in the future stream. I'm happy to. I don't know. I don't know if we will. Um, we might have an interview after this game. So yeah, after the king goes back, she will have bishop takes g3. Yeah, he's really deciding here between g1 and h1, which is a little surprising, but no, he's gone back to g1. Maybe did a little coin flip in his head. But yes, bishop takes g3. This is the best move, as capturing back would blunder checkmate. Now, what she does have to look at is we have the rook captures, king takes, and then I think there's queen f1 check to get the queens off. Knight takes to defend the h pawn. So she's going into an endgame, basically a knight for 2 pawns. So that'll be curious. We'll see. Hello, Chuck Norris. Thank you, Kirby. Yeah, the bishop is really bad, and therefore the rook is also really bad. So that's why this position's not just completely lost, being down a piece. But also, white is not through the thick of it just yet. Emily is about to take on g3. Otherwise, I mean, computers saying you could play rook e8 and just avoid the rook trade. Because that's really white's only defense. After bishop takes g3, you have to give the check and take off the rook, but also drawing the king a little bit into the line of sight of the queen check. But this might not be so obvious. That being said, he has played back-to-back best moves, and when you're in a really tight situation where it's like one wrong step could lead to checkmate, I think that really helps you find the solution, a better option than blundering mate. As long as you can see bishop takes, pawn takes, and queen mate, then you know that they're not going to take. And if they're not going to take, I mean, maybe they play some queen g2 here, right? Which would be a huge blunder because of bishop takes on h2. But I think rook takes f8 is probably the first move that you look at, because it is the only check. Checks are very valuable. And the opponent might be a little worried or concerned about all of black's checks at their disposal. Or maybe they'll take thinking after queen takes there's queen g2. But even that is not good, because then there's queen takes e3 with check, which would be pretty devastating. But yeah, queen h1 is just GG. So I honestly can't get into the mind of the opponent and see what he's thinking. But we're going to see their thoughts played out on the board when they make their moves. We already saw Emily sacrificing a knight for this initiative, for this attack. Will she sacrifice the bishop as well, following through and full sending, so to speak. She is losing some of the fuel, though, after the rook trade, and especially after a queen trade. So it's going to be a rough endgame, down a piece, but she still has good chances, as she'll have at least 2 pawns, and the opponent's pieces are pretty bad. But that would be white's way out of this attack. So bishop takes, rook takes is very important here. Only move. King takes, also an only move. And now here there's 2 ways white can continue, and it's by putting a piece on f1. Queen f1 is the best. When you're under attack, you want to trade queens. And queen f1 is a fork of the king and the queen. So you're guaranteed a queen trade. There's no way black could avoid that after the rook trade on f8. And so that would go into an endgame where she would have to fight a piece down for 2 pawns. Still very possible. At a certain point, you prefer pawns to pieces because pawns can become queens. Pieces are good, though, because they can win pawns. So you'll have an endgame battle there. But white might not go for the queen trade or play knight f1. Or even after the queen trade, black could mess up and play king takes, although that would probably be unlikely as well. But yeah, this could be potentially what we see, this endgame being played out. And this would be definitely a good bishop versus a bad bishop endgame, which is very helpful. And also an exposed, weakened king always leads to tactics down the line. So that being said, queens off the board is white's best chance for sure. And there's a pretty straightforward way to do it after the rook trade. And that's even if Emily goes for bishop takes g3. She might not. She might see the rook trade line, and she might assess that she really needs to keep the queens on the board. So she might do something with this rook. She might move it. She might lift it, but she might even trade it, but that allows knight takes. And queen takes also, or queen takes would be amazing. We could see the game end in just 2 moves. However, very unlikely. Definitely Emily's calculating trading, but she sees that there's knight takes, so it doesn't quite work out. What else? Bishop here might be interesting, right? Attacking the pawn, because if queen takes, then queen takes would be really good. But again, the problem is there's always this trade on f8. And if king takes, we already know queen f1 will be coming. And if bishop takes, then bishop c5 was kind of a waste of a move. So, yeah, computer's saying c4, if bishop comes back to c5, attacking the pawn. The idea is if white does something dumb, bishop takes a3 is going to be a monster move, because if queen takes, now we have queen takes h2, king to f1, and not rook here. This would apparently be dead even, but you want queen to h1, force the king up. If queen blocks, then rook f6, we win the queen, because the king is forced away from the defense of the queen. So instead, king will go to one of these 2 squares, and either way, the rook's coming to h2. So if you go to f2, rook h2 is actually just checkmate. So that would be really fun. Or if the king goes here, rook h2 actually just wins the queen. So if we look back at that whole line, even after the rook trade, Emily has chances because this king is so weak. This is the line that I looked at. I played a blunder for white in this position, but the huge threat is to take on e3. If the king goes here, then we have queen takes g3. We're threatening mate here. We're defending the bishop. This pawn is pinned by the rook. If here, then what? I don't know. It's saying queen f4, even queen e1 check. It's even saying you could trade queens at this point. We've lost the feed. Oh gosh, it's vertical. Okay. I don't know. That's okay though. We can fix this. Everyone stay calm. Hold on. Let me I mean, I'm just gonna have to rotate this. Let's see. Do I do counterclockwise or clockwise? Probably counterclockwise. All right, there we go. 1 second, folks. It's a quick fix. Everyone remain calm. Nobody panic. Like nothing even happened. Anyways, yeah, she rotated the. She didn't. Oh, it might flash back. Who knows? I don't know. Anyways, oh, did she make her move? The camera quality is maybe not as okay. So she did not sacrifice the bishop. She did go bishop c5, which was one of the ideas that I at least saw. Doesn't mean it's good. In fact, it might even mean that it's bad. However, Emily's got some nasty ideas here with bishop takes on e3, um, which is technically another way to sacrifice the bishop. Now, there are some problems here, mainly the trade of rooks, which we still looked at a line or two where you could even take with the bishop and just come back to c5 and still have some winning chances. So Emily's calculation slightly off with her rook h6 sacrifice of her knight on e4, but she's playing some aggressive attacking chess, and I love it. Definitely exciting. Not sound, but strong ideas, and she's going for it. So, okay, opponent, wow. Knight takes e4? Do my eyes deceive me? Opponent just blundered mate in 2. So, she has rook takes and queen takes h2. Um, the game could be over, folks, in 2 moves. Oh my god, and she's played it. Oh my god. She's done her puzzle rush. The game's over, folks. The game is over. I mean, queen takes is the only legal move here. And let this be a lesson to you all why it's important to connect your rooks. Because if this bishop had moved even just once in this game, you could take back with a rook. And even still, I mean, bishop takes e3 is coming next. But we don't even need that. This was an absolute humongous blunder from the opponent, not trading rooks, allowing Emily to trade rooks on her terms. And you can see now, perhaps, the realization of the opponent. A brutal way to end after having some chances. Emily sacrificing her knight. Opponent feeling the pressure. Tries to sack the knight back. Thinking he had what he saw was pawn takes queen fork. But little did he know that Emily, look at that smile. She knows. Queen takes, and she's going to have mate played out on the board. You don't see this often at top level classical. There she goes. She reaches for it. She snags it, and they shake hands. Bravo. That's exactly what we want to see After losing 2 games in a row, going to an even score, Emily gets back into the win column. She's now 3 out of 5. And yeah, this was a quick one. Both players, a lot of time left on the clock, and that's going to give Emily a lot of rest going into her 6th and final round of the tournament later today at 3 o'clock Eastern. And look at that, Emily, as a pro, putting the pieces on the dark squares, the kings, to signify her victory here today with a huge mate in 2 tactic. Absolutely beautiful. Big smile on her face, and round of applause in the chat from all the fans tuning in. Shout out to everyone. Thanks for watching. I think we might have an interview. So stick around maybe and see what the ultimate conclusion will be. Let's see. She's going to take us somewhere. We're going on a ride. All right. We've lost the camera, but that is okay because we still have me. Oh, this is my collegiate chess league scene. Hold on. I'll get rid of that. Yeah, I guess you know what we could do is we could just review the game. So let me keep an eye out if she says anything. But while we wait for a response, real quick, we'll go back over the game. So this game, she had the black pieces, and we had... Oh, hi. Okay, I have to rotate you. Or can you rotate your camera? Oh, she needs her headphones is the problem. Not a big problem. Not a big deal. We will patiently await. But yeah, we see Emily. She's walking through the chess center. Is this the chess center? I don't know. It could be like a hotel. Maybe she could go speaker. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? I don't know. Oh, you guys can't hear her. That's my bad. Yeah, she can't hear me either. Um, 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, you should be able to hear her now. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good.
Yeah, I bet you're feeling pretty good right now.
Yes.
That was oh, could you put the camera horizontal?
Oh, sorry.
Perfect. Beautiful. All right.
No headphones, so hopefully I'm not disrupting the people near me. Oh my goodness.
As long as you're outside the playing hall, you should be fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in
That's
front of a door. It's a little chilly out, but this is the only place, so I'll be fine.
well, what a game. That ended a little early, not as early as the game next to you.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, did you see Tony and Kingsley were playing?
Yeah, they drew, right? So, I said I'm glad I'm watching your game instead of theirs, as you're definitely a very attacking, aggressive player today. That was fun to watch.
Yeah, well, when he played the knight F3 move or whatever, I was like, I've never played against this as black, but I was like, I played against this as white, so I feel like I don't know, similar concepts can apply. So
Well, you had quite an interesting position when he played f3, attack your knight. I think that was the moment of the game. You guys were playing very quickly. Did you feel like you were
Hmm.
playing a blitz game at that point?
No, um, not really. I mean, I spent a long time thinking about, I feel like I spent the most time thinking about the knight move for sure, or like whether to move the knight or not. And so at that point, I felt like I could convert it. I just like if he took the knight, but then he did, and I was like, I don't know, I couldn't quite figure out how to get rid of the queen. So thankfully, he kind of blundered, and I panicked a little after I let him take the knight, and then I got down. I was like, oh my gosh, I there's no mate yet. So
So
this will-
before you sacrificed the knight and he just played f3, that's where you kind of paused and went into a little thought process. What was going through your mind there? Like, were you thinking of saving the knight, or at what point did you feel like you had something with the sacrifice?
no, I definitely was considering playing the knight, but then I was like, or moving the knight, but then I was like, I think if he takes, like, I'm going to be in a pretty good position, just with both the open rooks, and then like my pawns were good. I don't know. I like talk myself into it, but I definitely my first instinct was obviously to I think play. I don't know the squares, Joe. I'm sorry. Like G, move the knight to the G file or something.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I didn't do that.
Well, it worked out. Your sacrifice was actually how you played it. If he had played perfectly, he could have held an even or slightly better position. So it was still
Mm,
a good sacrifice. You just had a better way to sacrifice because the computer also wanted you to sacrifice. Instead of saving the knight, it wanted you to play f4, pushing your pawn.
I I looked at that move. That's funny. I'll have to look at it and see. I just couldn't quite um
See
I
like the
don't know.
follow.
Now I can't like visualize the
It's
position.
okay. The other
I'm not there
idea,
yet.
after he pushes the f pawn, you could sacrifice on g3, take his g pawn in front of his king, because your bishop was also attacking.
I thought about that too. Yeah, I pretty much looked at everything. I just like I don't know, in the last because my last two games, I had an advantage and then I blew it. I was like, I have a position like I'm positionally better now, so I feel like I need to convert. Like I just really did not want to ease off the gas and let him get counterplay. So that's I guess what I was trying to do, but um I
Well,
got lucky that it worked.
your skill allowed you to take the h file. You got your queen in there with check, thanks to your rook move to the h file.
Yes, which I learned from none other than you, Joe. The rook lift maneuver.
Yeah, you lifted that rook, you used it on the h file, and then there was a chance where he could have maybe traded rooks.
Yeah, I looked at that too. That's why I played that bishop move. Well, I had plans if well, I still wanted to, I had to protect the rook in case he played that, but then I was planning on, if he didn't take the rook and I had to move the bishop, then I could take the pawn with check, and then the queen would take back, and then I would have mate, a forced mate as well.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that was
but
a beautiful idea as well. Did you consider if you took the rook, obviously he had knight takes, right? Because if he takes with the queen, then you have the checkmate.
yes, as soon as he moved, that was like the biggest thing that was in the way was the knight, and as soon as he moved it, I was like, nice,
Yeah.
we're good.
Did you see the idea why he took your pawn with his knight?
Here, wait, let me see if I can see. Are you sharing the board on,
Yeah,
are you
but
on stream? Let me see if I can pull it up. I can't visualize what you're talking about.
I believe
Um,
you can. I believe because
oh God.
you knew when the knight moved that. Yeah, could you put the camera vertical or horizontal?
Yes. Sorry, I'm just trying to get this pulled up and my phone won't like, okay, hang on. I was
It's
trying
okay.
to pull up
It's
your
okay.
stream.
I think you could do
Okay,
it.
here.
I think you could do it because
Okay.
you told us that if they move their knight,
Oh
you would
no.
have your rook takes checkmate, right? That's what ended
Okay.
up happening.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, I see the board. So,
great. Oh, when they took the pawn, you pounced on that immediately. The tactics worked out for you. But I think in his
Oh my
mind,
gosh. Eval does not like me though.
yeah, they need to trade rooks, right? That was what you were concerned about.
Yeah.
That was definitely the best move because
Hmm.
if they don't trade rooks, then that allows for your tactic. You either have bishop takes on e3, or like you said, if their knight moves, then you have checkmate with rook takes rook. So this worked out well. But yes, this is a good position for them. Instead of moving the bishop to c5, were you considering sacrificing taking the pawn on g3 with your bishop? Bishop takes g3.
Yes. Yes, I looked at that. But I was like, he doesn't have to take, and then he has the rook check. And then
Exactly.
I figured, yeah, I just didn't see how that would be good for me. So, oh, uh-oh. Is it frozen?
No, you're good. I'm frozen
Okay.
maybe. Um, no, so I think it was really smart. You played bishop c5. I was looking at this line idea as well because if you take on g3, which is the best computer move, then that really
Mm,
easily allows them to trade rooks and trade queens. They would play queen f1
yeah.
check, right? And you would go into this end game down a piece for two pawns, which would be tricky. But I really liked your decision, bishop c5, and that gave you the best chances, even though the computer hates it, right? It's saying they just
Hmm.
trade and life's good. I think that you gave yourself a lot of chances and opportunities to make the position tricky and complicated enough to allow your opponent to blunder, which is exactly what they did. They thought they had a tactic. They thought that your move was a mistake because after knight takes e4, if you take back, they would play this queen c4 check with a fork. I think was their idea at least.
Mm,
But they completely forgot about your strong threats with checks. So they needed to play
yeah.
check first, and then maybe it would have worked out. But they didn't, and you absolutely capitalized like a professional. Rook takes, forced mate in two. They had no other option, and you're back in the win column.
Yes. Okay. Well, it looks like I got a little lucky. Uh, I'm not good in these sharp positions. Like I'm not good at calculating, and I need to try and like avoid those. And I feel like I'm definitely better with more positional things, you know?
I think
But
you got to give yourself a little bit more credit. I think that you actually played really well because your development was way better than theirs. They never
mhm,
moved their dark square bishop or their rook, whereas you used literally every single piece to the most of its ability. Your sacrifice maybe wasn't completely sound, but it was the spirit was correct, right? That
yeah.
was the best move, not what you did, but to sacrifice the piece was correct. I think what you're saying is that you're maybe not the best in these like calculations or whatever. If you're
Yeah.
not sure, if you don't see that you're actually checkmating or winning or whatever, you can always just trade the knights or bring the knight back, right? That's lower risk, right? You don't
Hmm.
necessarily have to go into a high risk sacrifice because your position's still very good,
Yeah.
right? So you
Yeah.
didn't have to risk it necessarily. But I do think that you're in the right space of mind where you're thinking like I have something here and I can sacrifice the knight because that was absolutely correct. And I really
Hmm.
like that you went for it because I think that's a really good style of play. I think it's going to serve you well. Maybe the calculation wasn't entirely there, but uh, your opponent couldn't handle the pressure and they cracked, and you just absolutely checkmated this guy. So that was a great way to finish a strong game.
Thank you. Well, hopefully we can keep up the momentum for the final round, but
Yeah.
I'll try not to make any unsound sacrifices since this has been, I guess, the second one of the tournament.
Well, I like that you're sacrificing because it's an aggressive style, and I think that you're making your opponents nervous, which is helping get them into the blunders. But that being said, I think you guys finished your game with like over an hour left on the clock. So you
Yeah.
could use that extra time to really go over your sacrifices, right? And really calculate, make sure that you're not missing anything.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true. I just, they say long think, wrong think. And the last time I thought for like a really long time, and I thought it worked, I ended up playing a losing move. So I kind of like talked to myself. I was like, all right, you're spending enough time on this, but you're right. I should use it if I have it, I guess.
Yeah, you might as well. If your lines are correct in your calculation, I think it'll help because like what you missed today after you sacrificed the knight was, yeah, you could get the queen h3 check, but after their king moves, their queen defends h2,
Yeah.
right?
And that's the part that I overlooked because after I played it, I was like, oh my gosh, I thought I had a, yeah, I totally didn't think about the queen. And then that's when I was like, now I need to think of how I can,
How can you
you know,
salvage it? And
yeah.
it worked
So,
out because it was still tricky enough position where the sacrifice didn't have to necessarily work out as long as they mess up again. You're in a great spot to really punish them, and that's what ended up working out. Now, obviously, that is not going to work forever in the long run,
right.
but it worked out today, and I think this is a good learning moment for you to really fine tune your calculation and your ability to sacrifice pieces. Because there were other ways you could have sacrificed tonight, like on G3 for the pawn.
Yeah. And I looked
Um,
at that too. I don't know why, I forget why I didn't play that, but
it's when you're in that sort of situation, it's very difficult to see a clear um, like checkmate forward because there isn't really a checkmate. There, you just get into a position where your activity is so overwhelming, you're gonna win that material back, but it's very deep, right? So
hmm
um, getting that
yeah.
sort of intuition, the feel for the position and the advantage, it just sort of takes time and practice, and games like these will help you know that okay, if I sacrifice the knight this way, I get this queen h3 check, but then there's really no follow up, right?
Yeah.
So maybe that
Mhm.
isn't the best way, but I just really like a lot that you're in that headspace of like, oh, maybe there's a sacrifice here because f3 was a big blunder by them for sure,
Yeah.
very weakening, and you took advantage of it. You checkmated them with your pieces because you had everything in play. They never moved their bishop or their rook, so their opening principles they need to work on their development and also their pawn structure. Right? They put every single pawn on dark squares, and their bishop was horrible.
Yeah.
But you were able to get every piece into play, and that really served you well. So even if your calculation wasn't on point, your position was so good that it didn't have to be.
Well, that's good. That's kind of what I was relying on. I was like, attackers versus defenders, I think I can feel comfortable making this just by math, but I don't know. Also not, yeah, I should be done with I should make sure that I calculate everything through.
Yeah, because you have the time for it. That's the beauty of this format is you can really spend a ton of time to double check, triple check everything.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I will be sure to do that in the next game, Joe.
well, I think either way, no matter what you do, everyone's very proud of you. This was an awesome game to have witnessed. I'm really grateful that you've invited me on, and I
I'm
think
grateful. Thank you. Thank you for commentating.
you've got a lot of fans that are tuning in and cheering you on and supporting you and congratulating you. And I wanted to ask, did you have anything to say to your fans before your very
Oh,
last game?
oh my gosh. Well, thanks for watching, guys. I know it's been a little up and down. Hopefully we can end on a high, but if not, hopefully you had fun with the commentators. Um, yeah, thanks. Thanks for the support.
And we will be back at 3 o'clock Eastern, right?
Yes, correct.
Awesome. Well, I'll let you get some food and some rest, and we're looking forward to your next one. So good luck, Emily.
Okay, thank you. Bye, guys.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, we will find someone to raid. I don't know if there's any people that could raid in Emily's chat, but I know I'll probably want to raid someone from my chat. Oh, look, I could raid Emily. I wonder what she's up to. Just kidding. Actually, you know what, you guys? I think we should raid Dina as she is playing in the same exact tournament. And that makes a lot of sense to me. So let's go check out what Dina's up to. I don't know. She might not have a commentator, though. What do you guys think? Thank you, Screws, for being here. Oh my god, Emily's rating me, but I'm. I'm ending the stream too. It's not like I'm. Okay, Emily, I see. I see what you're doing there. But we'll raid all of Emily's viewers. Um, what if I just started doing commentary for Dina? No, I should go get some food myself. Um, yeah, do you guys want to raid Dina as she's oh, thank you, Kirby. She won her game, Divinity. Raid has been canceled. Okay. I just Okay, Emily's raiding Dina. I'll raid Dina too. It's all good. Someone should commentate for Dina. Dina should have I don't know. She should have gotten someone maybe. But no fear. We're gonna go check her game out, and I'll see you all over there. Take care. We'll be back. 3 o'clock Eastern. Be there or be square. Either way. Emily's got another game left. She's gonna crush it. I'll see you all. Bye.